racial or sexist comments or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for immediate removal. Thank you for your continued support of Augusta University Athletics and the Peach Belt Conference. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Augusta University President Brooks Keel and Director of Athletics Clint Bryant, welcome to the George A. Christenberry Fieldhouse for military appreciation and tonight's Peach Belt Conference matchup between the Columbus and State Cougars and your Augusta Jaguars. Ladies and gentlemen, the global basketball community was stunned last Sunday with the passing of Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and 7 other souls. A brilliant and passionate basketball player, Bryant was a 5-time NBA champion with the LA Lakers, as well as an 18-time All-Star, NBA Most Valuable Player, and a 2-time Olympic champion. At this time, please join in a moment of silence for Kobe Bryant and all victims of this tragic accident. Thank you. Presenting the colors this afternoon is the Augusta University ROTC military program. At the conclusion of the anthem, please remain standing until the colors have left the floor. Performing today's anthem is United States Army Captain Natalia Bailey.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Army Captain Natalia Bailey. Thank you.
This afternoon, the Columbus State University Cougars are on the road in Augusta to take on the Augusta University Jaguars in Peach Belt Conference action. Hi again, everyone. Scott Miller courtside here in Augusta. Welcome to Cougar Basketball, being sponsored by Burger King, Pepsi, MediaCom, the Houston Clinic, CSU Dining Services, Kia, La Quinta Inn and Suites, Valley Hospitality, Hula Hands, the Cannon Brew Pub, the Cougar Club, the CSU Bookstore, Nuke's Eatery, Kinetic Credit Union, CSU's Girls in the Game, Waffle House, Buckhead Steak and Wine, and Coca-Cola. Well, it should be a heck of a ball game. We'll see here. Both these teams come in here with identical league records and overall records. Both teams are 7-4 in Peach Belt play and are 12-7 overall. CSU won a thriller when Hunter Preston hit a three-pointer at the buzzer, a buzzer beater on Martin Luther King Jr. Day back on January 20th at Herbert Green Court at the Lumpkin Center to win 61-60. However, the Cougars will be without Zay Horton here this afternoon. All Peach Belt player, three-time player of the week. He injured his knee on Wednesday night at Georgia Southwestern, and he will not play here today. So that's 14.8 points and 6.7 rebounds gone out of the lineup. And so CSU will have to have somebody step up and get the job done off the bench. Stanley Taylor will get the start today for Zay in his spot. Zay is with us on the trip and is walking around with one crutch, and we don't know the extent of the injury as of yet. I think he still has to see the doctor, and it'll be determined how long he will be out. So we'll hope for the best with that one. Lady Cougars won the first game of the day, 71-59. They lost point guard Kayla Carter to a knee injury in the third quarter. She did not return, and our thoughts and prayers are with her. Hopefully it won't be a serious injury, but the Lady Cougars had a nice win earlier, and now the Cougars will get set to go at it here. And of course, Augusta has the big guy, 7-foot, 290-pounder, Tyshawn Crawford, and he easily wins the tip. We had Brian Gibbons in the circle with him, and he didn't even bother. The Cougars just had a plan to set up on defense coming off of the tip that they knew that Augusta would win. All right, Jaguars with it. They swing it around behind the arc on the right side for three. In and out, no good. Anthony Moore with a rebound. Cracknell missed the three-point shot. Anthony Moore had a fantastic game on Wednesday night at Georgia Southwestern. And Brian Gibbons had the ball slip out of his hands and go out of bounds, and a turnover on the side. Augusta leads the series 47-35, and CSU looking for two regular season wins over these guys for the first time since 02-03. But keep in mind, we haven't played twice every year in the Peach Belt. The schedule has changed. They get the ball down to the big 7-foot guy, and he's in the paint forever down low. Stanley Taylor tried to tie him up. He ripped the ball away from him there, and he is fouled. The foul was on Anthony Moore, his first. Man. Robert wanted a held ball at the very least down there. So the line drive free throw by the big 7-footer Crawford clangs off the back of the rim. No good. And the next one is good. So Augusta on top 1-0. Brian Gibbons driving in from the wing, drew the foul, missed the shot, will go to the line to shoot two. He blew by the guard on the wing. And the foul was on Myers, his first. And BG will go to the free throw line to shoot a couple here. The first one is no good. Rimmed out on it. It's military appreciation today. They have some troops from Fort Gordon here. Free throw is good. And it's 1-1. So both sides 1 for 2 at the free throw line on their opening early possessions at least. Cracknell gets it to Montero. Montero drives on the right side of the lane, put it up, no good. Rebound loose. Got it back, put it up and scored. Cracknell got a loose ball in the lane. Picked it up and he scored. It's 3-1. Augusta on top. Anthony Moore at the head of the key. Cam Paulding, backdoor cut. Bryant Gibbons off the glass, good. Great pass from Cam Paulding. Bryant Gibbons went through the back door and tied the game at 3. There's a three-pointer from the left wing in front of me here by Arnold. He misses. Rebound CSU. Bryant Gibbons into the front court, gets it to Anthony Moore. A little short runner on the baseline is good. Anthony with the bucket. And the Cougars are on top 5-3. Trying to win a game without all Peach Belt players. Zay Horton out with a knee injury. Big 7-footer at the right elbow, kicks it back. Jumper is short on the left side, and a whistle and a foul on the rebound attempt on Stanley Taylor. And so going to the line on the baseline to get the ball in. They do. Up top, toss it back down into the corner to Arnold for 3. Good. And the Jaguars are on top, 6-5. Stanley Taylor head of the key. Cam Paulding, Anthony Moore, jumper in the key. Spun out, no good. Rebound goes to Augusta. Into the front court. They get wide open underneath on a pass from up top. Montero laid it up and in. And the Jaguars are up 8-5. Into the front court. Gibbons between the circles. JT head of the key. BG. Cam Paulding up top. Stanley Taylor. Anthony Moore up high. Cam Paulding. Bounce pass to Stanley Taylor. Turnaround jumper is short. And the rebound goes to Augusta. Into the front court. Arnold driving into the paint. A high scoop off the glass. No. Crawford from behind rips a rebound down. Off the glass. Good. And he's fouled. The basket counts. The big 7-footer from behind easily went over and got a rebound. Coach Moore wants it over the back. The foul was on Cam Paulding. And so Crawford will go to the line to shoot and miss. And the rebound goes to Stanley Taylor. It's a good thing he doesn't shoot better from the free throw line. I'm talking about Crawford, the 7-footer. Tay, a left elbow jumper, no good. A long rebound for Cam Paulding. Because he's obviously going to be fouled a lot. And he does not have a good free throw shot. Taylor at the head of the key. Tay kicks it out to JT way out on the left wing. He'll pull a 3 and miss it. There's Big Crawford with a rebound. Into the front court. Myers, Tyree Myers at the point. Cracknell. Myers driving in and laying it up and in. Timeout, Columbus State. Myers drew right by Stanley Taylor then and laid it in, and it's 12-5. And that'll turn into a media timeout with Augusta on top. 15:39 left here in the first half on Cougar Sports TV. On Cougar Sports TV. And we thank all of our sponsors. Cougar Basketball is sponsored by Burger King, Pepsi, Mediacom, the Houston Clinic, CSU Dining Services, Kia, La Quinta Inn and Suites, Valley Hospitality, Houlihan's, the Cannon Brew Pub, the Cougar Club, the CSU Bookstore, Nuke's Eatery, Kinetic Credit Union, CSU's Girls in the Game, Waffle House, Buckhead Steak and Wine, and Coca-Cola. We thank all of our sponsors. We couldn't do any of this without our sponsors, and we appreciate them very much. And we appreciate you, our listeners and our viewers and the Cougar fans, going and visiting these sponsors and tell them you heard about them on CSU Cougar Sports. So Augusta's on a 9-0 run and lead at 12-5 at the first media. 15:39 on the clock in the first half. And CSU 2 of 6, 33% from the floor. Augusta 5 of 9. All right, Anthony Moore, Bryant Gibbons into the front court. BG. Play instructions from Coach Moore. Anthony Moore between the circles, picks up the dribble. 10 on the shot clock. BG behind the arc on the right side. Hunter Preston, who checked into the game during the timeout, head of the key. Cam Paulding. 1 on the shot clock. Anthony Moore, shot clock violation. A moment after that, he hit a three-pointer at the head of the key, but did not count. Clearly did not get it off in time. So Augusta with the 7-point lead and a 9-0 run. 14:57 left in the half. Up top is Tyree Myers. Myers kicks it over to Arnold on the left wing. Drives to the baseline. Jumper, no good. Rebound, Anthony Moore. Long pass out to JT. Long two is good. Jalen Thomas with his first basket. And that breaks a 9-0 Augusta run. 12-7 Jaguars. Down in the left corner, a wide open three. Good. Arnold. He has 2 of them today. Both from the corner and both wide open. 15-7 Jaguars. Big game for both teams. The second half of the Peach Belt schedule. Anthony Moore driving into the paint off the glass. Good. Big time drive and finish by Anthony Moore. 15-9. Augusta on top. Talking with Coach Moore before the game. He said with Zay out, feels like he has to get another big game from Anthony Moore like he had on Wednesday night. Behind the arc on the right side, they try to toss it into Crawford. He fumbles it. Turnover. Back the other way. Bryant Gibbons gives it to Anthony Moore. Free throw line down to Cam Paulding. A little jump hook on the low block. Good. Cam with the basket. And a good pass from Anthony up top. 15-11. Augusta. CSU. Couple of baskets in a row now. Cracknell for 3. No. Left wing. Rebound CSU. Anthony Moore got it. JT. Jalen Thomas into the front court. Bryant Gibbons. Anthony Moore way out on the left wing. This crowd making a lot of noise. A long 2 for Anthony is no good from the wing, and the rebound goes to Augusta. Myers at the head of the key. Myers kicks it over to Cracknell. Crawford, low block, off the glass, missed it, but he's fouled, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Well, if he catches it on the low block, you can't stop him. And that's the second foul on Cam Paulding. So Anthony Crawford goes to the line, shooting 2. The first one is good. So Old School checks in and Cam Paulding comes out. So the Cougars go with a smaller lineup, 16-11. Let's see if we can get School off on a hot streak here today. Crawford's second free throw is terrible, off the front of the rim, nowhere near. Rebound CSU. Into the front court, Anthony Moore. JT in the logo. School, head of the key. BG is fouled on the mid-range jumper on the left side as he missed the shot. He'll go to the line to shoot two. Foul on Darren Lucas White. BG got hit pretty hard there. And he'll go to the line. And the first one is no good, off the front of the rim. And Bryant is just 1 of 3 at the free throw line. And missed them both. Rebound goes to Augusta. Well, we can't do much of that today, guys. Not against this team in this building. And again, playing without Zay Horton today. Bryant Gibbons knocked the ball away and stole it. BG, one person to beat, drew the foul, will go to the line to shoot two. Bryant Gibbons too quick for Darren Lucas White. 2 fouls on him. Crawford, the 7-footer, comes out for a breather. And the next one from BG, no good. Boy, he short-armed that one. You could tell he's really struggling with that now with the free throw shooting today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 for 5. And that one's good. 16-12, Augusta. Arnold with 12:04 left in the half, into the front court. Arnold gets it up top to Montero. Montero to Moss. Moss to Montero. Mid-range 2, no. Rebound, Bryant Gibbons. BG into the front court. Head of the key, down the left side of the lane. Fumbled it, got it back. Anthony Moore in the corner will dribble up and give it to Old School. JT in the jump circle. 15 on the shot clock. JT bounce pass to Hunter Preston. Low block outside the lane. Now gets into the lane, squares up, shoots, and scores. Hunter Preston squared it up, and the lefty knocked it down. 16-14, Augusta. Crawford, the 7-footer, back to the scorer's table. Moss way out on the right wing, and we've got a foul away from the basketball on Anthony Moore. And that's not good because that's number 2 on Anthony. And that will get us to a media timeout. 11:07 left in the first half. Augusta 16, Columbus State 14 here on Cougar Sports TV. We thank you for listening to CSU Cougar basketball on Cougar Sports TV. And we thank all of our sponsors. Cougar basketball is sponsored by Burger King, Pepsi, MediaCom, the Houston Clinic, CSU Dining Services, Kia, La Quinta Inn and Suites, Valley Hospitality, Houlihan's, the Cannon Brew Pub, the Cougar Club, the CSU Bookstore, Nuke's Eatery, Kinetic Credit Union, CSU's Girls in the Game, Waffle House, Buckhead Steak and Wine, and Coca-Cola. We thank all of our sponsors. We couldn't do any of this without our sponsors, and we appreciate them very much. And we appreciate you, our listeners and our viewers and the Cougar fans, going and visiting these sponsors and tell them you heard about them on CSU Cougar Sports. 11:07 to play in the first half, and Augusta leading at 16-14. Augusta 6 of 13, 46% from the floor. CSU 6 of 11, 54%. Augusta's got the ball. They get it in up top on the right side, and now a 3-second violation on Crawford. So the Jaguars turn it over. Cougars head the other way. Down by 2. Carl Ivy, who just checked into the game, has it on the right side. Old School up top. Hunter Preston, left elbow, good. Bounced around and dropped in there. Hunter Preston continues his good work, and the game is tied at 16. Right here in front of me is Arnold. Myers in the jump circle. Crawford at the right elbow. Myers between the circles. Back to Crawford. We triple team him. He kicks it over on the wing for 3. Good. Arnold with 3 3-point field goals. The Jaguars are back on top, 19-16. We collapsed on the big guy, and he kicked it out on the wing. Carl Ivy head of the key. Old School left wing. Stanley Taylor. Carl Ivy puts it on the floor. Hunter Preston up top for 3. Not this time, and the rebound goes to Augusta. Into the front court, stumbling into the lane. Lost the handle on it, loose on the floor. Picked up by CSU. Old School back the other way. One person to beat. High off the glass, missed it. A follow tip by Hunter Preston is no good, and Augusta comes away with it. Well, we had an opportunity and missed a contested layup with a defender in front of us. We got it to Big Crawford, and he dunked it. And he's fouled. Crawford. Foul was on Chris Old School Horton. He comes out of the game. Augusta back on top, 21-16 after the Crawford caught it on the low block. And that's just, when he does that, he's either going to dunk it or you're going to foul him. This time it was both. And he misses the free throw, and the rebound goes to CSU. Stanley Taylor got the rebound out to JT. JT, Hunter Preston up top. Hands it off to Carl Ivy. To JT between the circles. JT drives the baseline off the glass. Good. What a drive by JT and a finish. All the way from up top to the baseline to the basket and the finish. 21-18 Augusta. Back the other way. Behind the arc on the right side. Arnold tosses it up top to Cracknell. Montero at the free throw line. Puts it on the floor. Forces up a shot. No good. Hunter Preston grabbed a rebound. Outlet to Bryant Gibbons. BG into the front court. They stop the drive. He kicks it to Tay up top. Down to the corner is JT. Dribbles up top. Hunter Preston puts it on the floor at the right elbow, trying to back down against Crawford. He knocked it away, got it back, air ball into the hands of Stanley Taylor, who laid it up and in. Tay, right place at the right time, and the Cougars have pulled within one, 21-20, with 8 minutes to go here in a competitive first half. Arnold, left wing. Cracknell up top. Myers behind the arc on the right side. Myers, free throw line. Jumper is good. Got a kind bounce. And it went down 23-20. Augusta. 7:28. Stanley Taylor driving, spinning outside of the lane, and shot an air ball long out of bounds. Into the front court. Arnold. Cracknell way up top on the right side. Montero head of the key. Arnold spinning to the baseline. High off the glass. Good. He's got 11 points. It's 25-20. Augusta. BG into the front court. BG at the head of the key, lost the handle on it. Hunter Preston dives to the floor to try to save it, but Augusta comes up with it. Myers into the front court. He pulls a two, good. Right on the three-point arc for two. Myers, 27-20. Augusta. 6:19 left in the first half. JT, Bryant Gibbons behind the arc on the left side. Hunter Preston, an open three, head of the key, short, off the front of the iron, and the rebound goes to Augusta. Montero got the rebound. So the Jaguars now on a 6-0 run. Crawford, low block, off the glass, good. Again, he catches it on the low block. Nothing good is going to happen usually for CSU. 29-20. Augusta, 5:39. Hunter Preston down the middle of the lane. They cut the drive off, get it Stanley Taylor. Jump hook, no good. He got a long rebound that came right back to him at the elbow. So the Cougars will set it up again. 12 on the shot clock. JT in the logo. Drives down the left side against the big guy, Crawford. JT hits the floor. Ball goes out of bounds. No foul called. And the ball will belong to Augusta. And that'll get us to a timeout. 5:16 to play in the first half with Augusta on top, 29-20. We thank you for listening to CSU Cougar basketball on Cougar Sports TV. And we thank all of our sponsors. Cougar basketball is sponsored by Burger King, Pepsi, MediaCom, the Houston Clinic, CSU Dining Services, Kia, La Quinta Inn and Suites, Valley Hospitality, Hula Hands, the Cannon Brew Pub, the Cougar Club, the CSU Bookstore, Nuke's Eatery, Kinetic Credit Union, CSU's Girls in the Game, Waffle House, Buckhead Steak and Wine, and Coca-Cola. We thank all of our sponsors. We couldn't do any of this without our sponsors, and we appreciate them very much. And we appreciate you, our listeners and our viewers and the Cougar fans, going and visiting these sponsors and tell them you heard about them on CSU Cougar Sports. Augusta up 29-20. And they've gone on a little 8-0 run here. 5:16 left in the half. Robert Davis Jr. has checked in. CSU 9 of 19, 47% from the floor. Augusta 12 of 20, 60%. And they've got the ball. Arnold to Montero up top. Montero hands it to Myers, their point guard. Myers between the circles. 7 on the shot clock. Cracknell right wing. Montero 3 seconds. Drives and a travel. I don't think he even realized the shot clock was about to go off anyway. But he tried a spin move and he took steps with it. All right, Carl Ivey out and Anthony Moore back in with 2 fouls. So Anthony has to be careful with the 2 fouls. Devin Porter Wilson, right wing. Hunter Preston, head of the key. JT behind the arc on the right side. Robert Davis Jr. behind the left elbow. Good! Robert Davis Jr. with the jumper, just a step back of the left elbow, and it's 29-22. Robert in there to give Bryant Gibbons a breather. And a pass on the wing is knocked away, but it went right back to Myers, and he takes a short jumper outside the lane down low, good. 31-22 Jaguars. Anthony Moore head of the key. Hunter Preston left wing drives in, puts the shot up short. Augusta comes down with it. Crawford bothered the shot. Back the other way, and Augusta missed a jam. But they get a rebound as Cracknell missed a baseline drive and a jam attempt. They get it down to Montero, though, and he lays it up and in. So no harm on the missed jam, and now the lead is 11 for the Jaguars. 3:26 to play in the first half. Hunter Preston need a bucket here. DP with the ball. Devin Porter Wilson spins, shoots, misses. Rebound kicked out long, and Augusta's got it. 3-on-2. Cracknell against JT, and a charge. JT is so good at that. Jalen Thomas drew the charge. Cracknell out of control. And that'll get us to immediate timeout. Fans want to remind you that the Cougars and Lady Cougars will be home on Wednesday night when old rival Georgia College comes in. 5:30 for the women and 7:30 for the men Wednesday night at Herbert Green Court at the Lumpkin Center. And if you can't make it out, you can watch the game, the telecast, and the audio right here on Cougar Sports TV. Fans, also a reminder, you can stay connected with Columbus State Athletics on Twitter. Follow at CSU Cougars for all of your daily news and updates from CSU Athletics. Once again, that's at CSU Cougars on Twitter. And don't forget to use the hashtag GoCSU to connect to the rest of Cougar Nation. So Augusta's shooting a blistering 60.9% from the floor, 14 of 23. Cougars 10 of 22. Not bad, but not 60%. It's 45.5. And trailing, CSU trailing 33-22, but with the ball. 3 minutes remaining here in the first half. Anthony Moore, low block, right side. Hunter Preston at the right elbow, in and out, no good, and the rebound goes to Augusta. Man, that thing went way down and came out. Myers got the rebound. Crawford goes back to the scorer's table, the 7-footer. Montero at the head of the key. Myers gets it to Arnold in the paint. Bad pass, turnover. Anthony Moore picked it up. Outlet pass. Devin Porter Wilson kicks it on the wing. JT for three. Shot it long, but Anthony Moore got a long rebound out near the head of the key. Gets it to Robert Davis Jr., who gets it back to Ant. Moore, head of the key off of a screen. And a whistle. And a foul on Augusta. Just the 5th foul on the Jaguars. Vic Crawford back in. 2:17 left in the half. Cougars down by 11. JT on the baseline to the left of the basket. Gets it in up top to Robert Davis Jr. Hunter Preston head of the key. Anthony Moore. Devin Porter Wilson in the paint. Can't get the shot off against the big guy. Kicks it on the wing. He gets it back. Gets it to Anthony Moore. A floater good over the 7-footer. Crawford. Great floater down low by Anthony Moore. 33-24. That's what you got to do against that guy. Don't get in too close so he can block the shot. Get that floater in over it, or the runner. Crawford, low block. We double team him. He puts it on the floor. Kicks it on the wing. Cracknell for three. Good. That's the second time today that Crawford has been doubled or triple teamed, and he's kicked it on the wing, and one of his guards hit a three. It's 36-24 Augusta. 1:21 left in the half. Cougars are playing without Zay Horton. Got the bad knee. Robert Davis Jr., mid-range jumper, baseline, no good. Crawford with the rebound. So Augusta with its biggest lead of 12 and the ball with 1:05 left in the half. They're going to run a little clock now. 15 on the shot clock. Arnold way out on the right wing, 12 on the shot clock. Picks up the dribble. Montero gets it over on the wing, a drive into the paint. He gets it back, and he lays it up and in. 38-24 Jaguars. 39 seconds left in the half. Anthony Moore, JT in the circle. JT drives, kicks it to Robert Davis Jr. just inside of the arc. Devin Porter Wilson drives down, low block, can't get the shot off, throws it up top, ball knocked away. JT got it back 9 seconds, getting it down into the corner for three. Devin Porter Wilson, no. And then a whistle on the rebound and a foul on the CSU on Robert Davis Jr. with 15.1 seconds, and that will put the Jaguars in the bonus. And Sean Moss will go to the line to shoot the front end of a 1-and-1. Robert Barlin checks in, and Big Crawford, 7-footer, out for Augusta for the final 15 seconds of the half. Front end of the 1-and-1. Jaguars up by 14. That's their biggest lead. And the free throw is good. So the Cougars will have a lot of work to do in the second half, and again have to do it without Zay Horton, who's on the trip, but he's in sweatpants and walking around with one crutch. Got the bad knee. Second free throw is good. 40-24 Jaguars. 12 seconds left in the half. JT into the front court with 8 seconds near the logo. JT, Hunter Preston, 3 seconds. And a foul with 2 seconds on Augusta, but not in the bonus. Or are they going to call it a 2-shot foul? Well, we'll take that. Thank you very much. So Hunter Preston goes to the line to shoot 2. And the first one is good. (40-25). And the second one from Hunter is also good. He made them both. Augusta's going to call a 30-second timeout. We'll hold it right here. So 40-26 Jaguars with 2 seconds remaining in the first half. Fans want to remind you about Jenny Finch, 2-time Olympic softball pitcher and gold medalist. She's the keynote speaker at the annual Girls in the Game luncheon, March 26th. Go online at csucougars.com. Follow the link and you can buy your tickets. All right, so Augusta's got just 2 seconds. They've got the ball, have to go the length of the court as we near the end of the first half. They throw a long pass that JT intercepts. And that's the way the first half will end. And the Jaguars, who led by 15 or 16, 16, it looks like their biggest lead at 40-24. And the Cougars able to get a couple of free throws after that, and will go in trailing by 14 at the half. We'll be back with the halftime stats in just a moment here on Cougar Sports TV. We thank you for listening to CSU Cougar Basketball on Cougar Sports TV. And we thank all of our sponsors. Cougar Basketball is sponsored by Burger King, Pepsi, Mediacom, the Houston Clinic, CSU Dining Services, Kia, La Quinta Inn and Suites, Valley Hospitality, Hula Hands, the Cannon Brew Pub, the Cougar Club, the CSU Bookstore, Nuke's Eatery, Kinetic Credit Union, CSU's Girls in the Game, Waffle House, Buckhead Steak and Wine, and Coca-Cola. We thank all of our sponsors. We couldn't do any of this without our sponsors, and we appreciate them very much. And we appreciate you, our listeners and our viewers and the Cougar fans, going and visiting these sponsors and tell them you heard about them on CSU Cougar Sports. All right, so the first half has come to an end here, and CSU is trailing Augusta 40-26. And here are the look at the first half stats. CSU 11 of 27 from the floor, 40.7%. Augusta, a blistering 64%, 16 of 25. From behind the arc, the Cougars are 0 for 4, and Augusta is 4 for 7. Free throw line, both teams are 4 for 8. Augusta's out rebounded the Cougars 17 to 12. Turnovers, just 4 for CSU, 7 for Augusta. Individually, Hunter Preston leads the way with 8 points. And 6 points for Anthony Moore. He was on the bench in some foul trouble for a while, though. 4 points each, Jalen Thomas and Bryant Gibbons. And 2 points apiece for Stanley Taylor and Robert Davis Jr. For the Jaguars, Miguel Arnold leads the way with 11 points. He has 3 3-point field goals. And he hit those. Those were his first 3 field goals, and his second one was a 2-pointer. 8 points for the 7-foot Tyshawn Crawford with 4 rebounds and a couple of assists. And he kicked both of those out on the wing that ended up being 3-point baskets. Tyree Myers with 8 points. Montero with 6, and Cracknell with 5 for the Jaguars. Points in the paint in the first half, Augusta with 10, CSU with 4. Points off of turnovers, CSU 9, Augusta 3. Second chance points, 6 for the Jaguars, 2 for the Cougars. The CSU bench has outscored Augusta 10 to 2. And the biggest lead, as I said, was 16. That came with 18 seconds to go, and it's 14 now at 40 to 26 here at the half. We've got softball update from Josh Fuller, our SID, who's hard at work all weekend trying to keep track of everything and help me keep track with everything as well. Softball is losing 7-1 in the 5th inning in their opener, and it looks like the baseball game down at the spring training site for the Yankees, Steinbrenner Stadium down in Tampa. Looks like that's going to get started at 5. They had to push everything back down there, so that's what we've got on that now. All right, we are at the half with the Jaguars leading CSU 40 to 26. Again, we remind you that our next home game will be Wednesday night when Georgia College comes in, and that will be a 5:30 women's game, 7:30 men's game. Hope to see a lot of you out there. And if you cannot make it, we will have the games for you right here on Cougar Sports TV. We're at the half of the Columbus State basketball game. Time to check on Cougar news and notes. And in conjunction with the upcoming Girls in the Game luncheon, Columbus State University announcing that the 8 Girls in the Game scholarship finalists have been selected. And leading up to that event, the CSU department announcing 8 female student athlete scholarship nominees. And they are Kayla Carter, basketball, Chandler Desrochers, softball, Elizabeth Hedrick, soccer, Catherine Quinn, cheer, Melita Marie Roachford, track and field, Louise Sachs, tennis, Brianna Shattinger, cross country, and Anna Thorne, golf. These women were nominated by their teammates and coaches as the individual best representing leadership, community service, and sportsmanship. And each of the finalists will be recognized at the 5th annual Girls in the Game luncheon presented by Houston Clinic, which will be held Thursday, March 26th at the Lumpkin Center. All finalists will receive a scholarship and specially designed Girls in the Game medallion. This year's keynote speaker is a softball legend, Jenny Finch. Finch won a gold medal with the 2004 U.S. Olympic softball team in Greece, as well as a silver medal for the 2008 Olympic Games. And following the luncheon, Jenny Finch will host a free softball clinic at Columbus State's Cougar Field. And you can purchase a seat at the luncheon and go online and do that at csucougars.com. Look for the Girls in the Game link. Click on it, and you can get your ticket to see Jenny Finch. It should be outstanding. Launched in 2015, the mission of Girls in the Game is to advance and support Columbus State University's female student athletes, allowing them to reach their full potential academically and athletically while empowering them to become leaders in life. And the Girls in the Game luncheon brings together those who are passionate about supporting sports programs for female student athletes. I know many of you have attended every year. We look forward to seeing you again. And again, Jenny Finch, the keynote speaker. Go online, csucougars.com. Click on the link and get your ticket for the March 26th event. Now, speaking of softball, Columbus State will get to play as part of the Stand Beside Her tour, the Team USA, on April 3rd at South Common Softball Complex in Columbus. And the Lady Cougars will have the opportunity to take the field against the USA Softball Women's National Team in a doubleheader that night. It's part of the national tour that the USA team is putting together and has put together to get ready for the Olympics in Tokyo coming up this summer. And so, of course, Columbus played a historic part. The very first softball competition in the Olympics held in Columbus at the Golden Park complex. And so looking forward to seeing the national team was in last summer as the International Cup. They hosted it there, the city of Columbus. Columbus State helping out, did a great job hosting that, and that's brought the USA national team back to Columbus. And again, that will be on April 3rd at the South Commons Softball Complex, and you can get your tickets now. Go online to do that as well. ColumbusGeorgiaSports.com. ColumbusGeorgiaSports.com to get your tickets to see the Lady Cougar softball team playing the U.S. national team. A couple of other news and notes here as we are at the half of the ball games here today. Columbus State University basketball coach Robert Moore announcing the dates for the 2020 Cougar Team Summer Camp. The team camp will take place from June 8th through the 10th on the campus of Columbus State. And each team is guaranteed 6 games with the 3-day option. Or you can choose to participate on a per-day basis. The camp will run from 10 a.m. until 8 a.m. And 8 p.m. each day. Cost is $20 per player per day with the 3-day option totaling $60 per player. And for more information, you can register for the event. You can contact head coach Robert Moore. And the best way, you probably don't have a pen to write down a phone number. Best way is to go to our website, csucougars.com, and look up Robert's email information. Give him a call there and get signed up for the camp. Some exciting news for the women's basketball team as they signed 2 more this week, as head coach Matt Hauser announcing 2 additional signings to the 2020 CSU women's basketball recruiting class. Kristen Bond and Amelia Tenbrock have signed scholarships to join the Lady Cougars for the 2020-21 season. And Kristen Bond is a versatile athlete, a 2-sport standout at South Dearborn High School. And she's having a tremendous senior season. And earlier this year, she became the school's all-time leading scorer, breaking a 20-year record. And Tenbrock is a guard from Germany, an international product. a dual threat with her passing and shooting skills. The guard is a member of the under-18 Germany national team, making 7 appearances since 2016. So welcome to the family. A couple of new Cougars, Lady Cougars, who are playing for Coach Matt Hauser next season. Both teams are back out on the floor now and going through their final warm-ups before we get the second half of this one underway here today. Lady Cougars won earlier in the day, beating Augusta, and the final score in that one was 71 to 59. Survived an Augusta comeback attempt in the second half. And again, we'll be at Herbert Green Court at the Lumpkin Center on Wednesday night when Georgia College comes in, and a 5:30 for the women, 7:30 for the men. We'll take a look at a couple of other of our teams and when their first home games will be played. The baseball team is down in Florida this weekend, has a 3-game weekend series at Ragsdale Field, Burger King Stadium against Florida Southern. And they'll play this coming Friday at 4 o'clock, and then Saturday at 1 o'clock, and Sunday at 1 o'clock. So the first home games coming up next weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the baseball team. Big series, Florida Southern in 4 o'clock on Friday, 1 o'clock on Saturday, 1 o'clock on Sunday. The first home softball games will be on Friday, February the 14th, and that'll be against Albany State. Lady Cougars are opening on the road this weekend, and it will be the annual Cougar Classic softball tournament, returning to CSU from from Friday, February 14th until Sunday, February 16th. And Albany State at 4:30 on Friday the 14th. On the 15th on a Saturday, it's Union at 5, and also Coker at 7. And then on Sunday the 16th, we'll play Queens at 2 o'clock. And there'll be other games going on as well. And the men's and women's golf teams be getting their season started in another week or so. And then the women's tennis team is getting started this weekend. The first chance for you to see the women at home, the women's tennis team, will be on Saturday, February 15th when Anderson comes in. And that'll be the men's and women's tennis teams' home openers at the John W. Walden Tennis Complex coming up in a couple of weeks. All right, well, the Cougars are down 40 to 26 as we get set to start the second half, and the Cougars with the ball. Need a good quick start to try to get back in this thing. Anthony Moore from the right elbow, missed it. Rebound Augusta. Into the front court, man. Augusta 64% from the floor in the first half. Myers head of the key. Montero behind the right elbow. Dribbles in some now. Back up to Myers. 9 on the shot clock. Big Crawford. Anthony Moore stepped in front of a pass and knocked it away. We try to save it, but it goes to Montero. They put a shot up, no good. And a foul on CSU. Foul on JT, his first. And it will not be on the shot. Coach Dip Mitras arguing that it was on the shot. The officials say no. And Augusta gets the ball in to Miguel Arnold up top. Down in the corner, spun out a three from Cracknell. Montero tried to put it up. No good. Rebound flying back the other way. Anthony Moore lays it up and in. And it's 40-28. So the Cougars trim 2 off of that deficit, scoring the first basket of the second half. Cracknell down in the corner, and he had that three go in and out from the other corner. Ball knocked away, and a whistle and a foul on Augusta. Foul is on Myers, and that's 3 on their point guard. Into the front court. Stanley Taylor up top. Stanley got the start today because the injury to Zay Horton keeps him out of at least today. Up top, Taylor gets it to BG. A long three. Good. Bryant Gibbons right in front of our bench hit a long one. And it's 40-31. Augusta. CSU has scored the first 5 points of the half. So this is the good start that we needed. Cracknell behind the arc on the left side. Montero, left elbow jumper, spun out on him, no good. Rebound goes to CSU. Here's JT, kicks it to BG. Free throw line jumper is no good, and Augusta got a long rebound. Into the front court, down the left side of the lane, off the glass, no. Cam Paulding got the miss from Darren Lucas White. Long outlet pass to JT. He puts it on the floor and drives. His pass is deflected, but Stanley Taylor comes up with it on the right wing. BG at the head of the key. Anthony Moore against Cracknell. Anthony puts it on the floor, leaves it for Tay. Up top, Cam Paulding, driving, baseline, in trouble, kicked it to an open Taylor for 3. Shot it long, and a rebound goes to Cracknell. And Tay was open, and it was online, but it was too long. Darren Lucas White in some trouble on the wing, and his pass is knocked out of bounds by Anthony Moore. Still belongs to Augusta. Jaguars have yet to score in the half, lead at 40-31. We're closing in on the 17-minute mark. And a whistle and a foul down low away from the basketball. And it's going to be on JT. Down on the baseline, his second. And the team's second. So Augusta will get it on the baseline to the right of their basket. Get it into Montero up top. Crawford, high post left side. Cracknell head of the key for 3. No. Rebound goes to BG. Long pass out to Anthony Moore off the glass. Good. A great move and a finish by Anthony Moore. 40-33 Augusta. Cougars have scored the first 7 points of the second half. 16:36 to play. Crawford, baseline, way away from the basket. Moving in on Cam Paulding. Missed a little easy one, but there's a weak side follow-up for Montero to lay it up and in. And it's 42-33. Breaks the 7-0 run. 9-0 if you go back to the 2 free throws at the end of the half. JT between the circles. Cam Paulding. BG up top. BG down the left side. Kicks it out. Down in the corner. JT for 3. No. Backside rebound goes to Augusta. Into the front court. Head of the key. Arnold behind the arc on the left side. Arnold to Big Crawford. Low block in the paint. He put it on the floor, and he was fouled before he went up to dunk it. And the foul was on Anthony Moore, and that's number 3 on him. And that'll get us to the first media timeout of the second half. Cougars with a 7-0 run to open the half. Augusta finally scored their first bucket, and their 14-point halftime lead is down to 9 with 15:48 to play. We thank you for listening to CSU Cougar basketball on Cougar Sports TV. And we thank all of our sponsors. Cougar Basketball is sponsored by Burger King, Pepsi, MediaCom, the Houston Clinic, CSU Dining Services, Kia, La Quinta Inn and Suites, Valley Hospitality, Hula Hands, the Cannon Brew Pub, the Cougar Club, the CSU Bookstore, Duke's Eatery, Kinetic Credit Union, CSU's Girls in the Game, Waffle House, Buckhead Steak and Wine, and Coca-Cola. We thank all of our sponsors. We couldn't do any of this without our sponsors, and we appreciate them very much. And we appreciate you, our listeners and our viewers and the Cougar fans, going and visiting these sponsors and tell them you heard about them on CSU Cougar Sports. All right, Augusta with the ball to Cracknell on the wing for three. No. Rebound CSU. Jaguars have finally cooled off here in the second half after a blistering first half. BG gets the ball to Cam Paulding. Up top to Stanley Taylor for three. Yes. Tay with his first long one of the afternoon. 42-36 Augusta. Cougars have outscored them 10-2 to start the second half. 15-17 to play. Up top, right elbow jumper is good from Montero. 44-36. Cougars were down by 16, down by 8 now, so they've fought their way back into the game. BG for three, short. Rebound, Stanley Taylor fighting for it, but couldn't quite corral it. Great hustle by Stanley Taylor over on the far side. Fighting for it hard on that baseline, but couldn't quite haul it in. Darren Lucas White in the backcourt against Bryant Gibbons. Their point guard Myers is on the bench with 3 fouls. Cracknell, right elbow, bad pass, Anthony Moore stole it. Ahead of the field, Anthony Moore had the ball slapped out of his hands, and it will still belong to CSU as it went out of bounds. Good hustle by Darren Lucas White. It looked like Anthony was going to have a breakaway layup after the steal, but Lucas White hustled back and knocked it out of his hands. Bryant Gibbons, trigger man, baseline to the left of the basket. Gets it into Stanley Taylor. Up top, Cam Paulding. JT, BG, head of the key, driving inside of the arc. And lost the handle on it, but saved it out to Anthony Moore. A floater, no good. He got his own miss, goes up and scores. Anthony Moore. That was a man play right there. 44-38 Augusta. 14:06 to play. Anthony Moore with the great effort down on the other end. Montero back the other way, and he's fouled on the floor by Stanley Taylor. Couple on Stanley and 4 on the Cougars. Cougars have outscored them 12-4 in this half. 13:58 to play. Down by just 6 now. Augusta's got the ball, though, with the 6-point lead. Driving into the paint, squaring up, shooting, and missing badly, but Crawford got a rebound. He's fouled as he dunks it. And he'll go to the line to try to complete the 3-point play. Foul was on JT, 3 on him. So Crawford, 46-38. Crawford goes to the line. Not a good free throw shooter. And this one is perfect, of course. But he'll miss as many as he makes. That's what he's done all year. 47-38, Augusta. Anthony Moore, low block against Montero. Crawford comes over to help. And a blocking foul on Montero. Good spin move by Anthony Moore. Anthony, trigger man, baseline to the left of the basket, gets it into JT. JT inside of the arc, picks up the dribble. Cam Paulding up top. Bryant Gibbons swings it over to Anthony Moore against Montero. Gets it down to Cam Paulding. And Cam had the pass knocked out of bounds. Still belongs to CSU, 7 on the shot clock. Crawford came over from the weak side to cut Cam off, and he tried to pass it after that. So 7 seconds on the shot clock. JT, the trigger man, just to the right of his basket. Gets it into Cam Paulding, puts it on the floor. Little jump hook in the lane, no, and then it's knocked out of bounds by JT. Again, Crawford, the 7-footer, caused Cam to change his shot. He comes out of the game now, and Hunter Preston comes in. Hunter Preston with 8 first half points off the bench. Let's see if we can get him hot here in the second half. 47-38 Jaguars with the ball. 13 minutes to play. Montero at the left elbow. Puts it on the floor. To the free throw line. Spins in trouble. Tay blocked his shot into the hands of Hunter Preston. Gets it to BG. Bryant Gibbons at the right elbow. Good pass to Anthony Moore. Oh, and he missed the layup, but Hunter Preston got a rebound, and they're going to call a foul on CSU, I think, on Hunter Preston, and Coach Moore is beside himself right now, and assistant coach Jalen Butler pulls him back, and the official gives a bench warning to the CSU bench to Coach Moore. So they call the foul on Hunter. Augusta with the ball. 47-38 lead. 12 and a half minutes to play. And we've got a foul on JT away from the ball, and that's 4 fouls on Jalen Thomas. We're already without one of our scorers, Zay Horton, with the knee injury, and that's the 17th foul already. Augusta's only been whistled for 2. Life on the road is tough. It always is. Got to find a way to fight through it. Trailed by 16 toward the end of the first half, by 14 at the half, by 9 now. And the 1-and-1 from Arnold is good. 48-38. Cougars got back to within 6, but as the free throw is made, now it's back up to an 11-point lead by Augusta. Chris Old School Horton has checked in for JT. Man, we need to get school on a streak. Anthony Moore, low block. Cracknell cuts the drive off. Throws it out to Stanley Taylor for 3. Good, just to the right of the head of the key. Tay hits his second three-pointer of the half. And it's 49-41. Augusta with the ball, 12 minutes to go. Montero, Arnold head of the key. Stanley Taylor got the start over the injured Zay Horton today. Montero ahead of the key. Arnold behind the arc, driving in. Cracknell, 9 on the shot clock. Arnold, a long 3 on the wing, no good. Long rebound, Chris Horton. BG into the front court in a hurry down the right side of the lane. He is fouled on the floor before he got his shot off by Sean Moss. And that'll get us to the media timeout with Augusta hanging on to an 8-point lead with 11:34 to play. We thank you for listening to CSU Cougar basketball on Cougar Sports TV. And we thank all of our sponsors. Cougar basketball is sponsored by Burger King, Pepsi, Mediacom, the Houston Clinic, CSU Dining Services, Kia, La Quinta Inn and Suites, Valley Hospitality, Hula Hands, the Cannon Brew Pub, the Cougar Club, the CSU Bookstore, Nuke's Eatery, Kinetic Credit Union, CSU's Girls in the Game, Waffle House, Buckhead Steak and Wine, and Coca-Cola. We thank all of our sponsors. We couldn't do any of this without our sponsors, and we appreciate them very much. And we appreciate you, our listeners and our viewers and the Cougar fans, going and visiting these sponsors and tell them you heard about them on CSU Cougar Sports. Well, Augusta leads at 49-41, 11:34 to play, but I said they've really cooled off in the second half. They were 64% in the first half, but just 3 of 12, 25% in the second half. Cougars with the ball, down by 8. Long way to go, 11 and a half. Hunter Preston down the left side of the lane. Crawford fouled him, blocked the shot, but he also fouled him. Good job by Hunter to go right after the big guy there. So Hunter Preston will go to the line where he's 2 for 2 this afternoon. And the lefty gets the ball from the official. And the first one is up and perfect. 9 points for Hunter. First point of the second half, 49-42. This can get us to 6 again. That's as close as we've been since they led by 16. Free throw is good, 49-43. So the Cougars right back in this thing with a strong start to the second half. Augusta with the ball by 6. Montero up top, 11-11 to play. Myers back in with the 3 fouls at the point. Arnold, Montero. Arnold out on the wing. Montero, low block, trying to muscle his way in against Anthony Moore. Great defense, and the ball knocked away into the hands of Stanley Taylor, and a whistle and a foul on the Jaguars. Boy, that's just outstanding defense by Anthony Moore down on that other end against when Montero posted him up. (49-43) Augusta. Cougars with the ball. 10:46 to go. Stanley Taylor right wing. BG head of the key. Pass is stolen, and a run out and a layup by Myers. BG tried to hit School up top. Stole the ball, and Myers laid it up and in. 51-43 Jags. 10:22. Hunter Preston gets it to Stanley Taylor. A little floater in the lane is no good. And it wouldn't have mattered anyway. They called the charge on Tay, and that's 3 fouls on him. 18 fouls, won't shoot because player control. So Augusta with the 8-point lead. Cougars got to within 6 twice here in the second half. 10:09 to go. Myers into the front court. Myers up top in the circle is Arnold. Arnold between the circles now. Gets it to Montero underneath, off the glass. Good, and a foul. Basket counts. That was a great move by Montero. Reverse layup, used the rim to keep Stanley Taylor away from blocking the shot. But Tay's called for the foul, and that's 4. So JT's on the bench with 4. Tay now on the bench with 4. This on a day where Zay Horton is not dressed because of the knee injury on Wednesday night. Montero trying to complete the 3-point play, and he does. So 54-43. Augusta, 9:47 to go. We got to get another little run in us here, guys. Hunter Preston head of the key. Carl Ivy up top. Hunter Preston, the Jaguar Slayer, between the circles. Gets it to School. Drives in. High off the glass. Missed it. Tipped up by Preston. No, and Augusta gets the rebound. Not a bad job by School. He had to get it high up over Crawford and off the glass. It was just a little too hard, and then a contested tip-in didn't go down. Myers into the front court. 9:10 to go. Augusta leading by 11. Head of the key, Myers. 8 on the shot clock. Arnold, 5 on the shot clock on the wing for 3. No. And the rebound knocked out of bounds by CSU. 20 seconds on the shot clock. They reset it. That was not correct. They quickly caught their mistake and put 20 on there. Reset it to 30 to begin with. Augusta gets the ball in. Myers, right wing. Montero against Ivy on the baseline on the right side. Backing him down. Jump hook good. 56-43. So Augusta's gone on a 7-0 run after the Cougars pulled within 6. 8.5 minutes to go. Ivy up top. Anthony Moore, free throw line down the right side of the lane. Off the glass, good. Anthony Moore with another strong drive and a finish. 56-45 Augusta. 8:12 to go. These two teams, identical records in the league and overall. Huge game here. A whistle and an offensive foul on Big Crawford, pushing from behind. Hunter Preston was guarding him, fronting him, trying to keep the ball out of his hands. Crawford called for his second foul and the 6th Augusta team foul. Into the front court, Brian Gibbons. Cougars down 56-45. School with 7:52 to play. Up top, Hunter Preston down the left side of the lane. And a charge. He made a basket, but a charge, and he did. And that'll get us to a media timeout. 7:47 to play. And Augusta leading the Cougars 56-45. We thank you for listening to CSU Cougar Basketball on Cougar Sports TV. And we thank all of our sponsors. Cougar Basketball is sponsored by Burger King, Pepsi, Mediacom, the Houston Clinic, CSU Dining Services, Kia, La Quinta Inn and Suites, Valley Hospitality, Hula Hands, the Cannon Brew Pub, the Cougar Club, the CSU Bookstore, Nuke's Eatery, Kinetic Credit Union, CSU's Girls in the Game, Waffle House, Buckhead Steak and Wine, and Coca-Cola. We thank all of our sponsors. We couldn't do any of this without our sponsors, and we appreciate them very much. And we appreciate you, our listeners and our viewers and the Cougar fans, going and visiting these sponsors and tell them you heard about them on CSU Cougar Sports. Well, the Cougars are down by 11, 56-45, 7:47 to go. There's plenty of time, but got to keep going. We've gotten to within 6 a couple of times here in the half. Augusta with the ball on the CSU baseline will press full court. And they get it into Cracknell, back to Myers. We double team him. He dribbles through it for the moment. He's still in the backcourt. The ball's knocked away. It's loose. And Augusta comes up with it, and they just get it across the timeline. Arnold will fire up a 3 and make it. Man, we almost turned them over, and then Arnold open on the wing. They got him the ball, and he drilled it. School in the corner for 3. Good to answer back the other way. Old School with a huge jumper there. Cougars were down by 14, now down by 11 again with 7:10 to go. Cracknell to the free throw line. Man, maybe that will get School going. Myers behind the arc on the right side. Arnold, free throw line jumper, no good. Long rebound. School comes up with it, gets it to Anthony Moore, and a breakaway two-handed dunk. Anthony Moore with 16 points. 59-50. Cougars back to within 9. They've scored 5 in a row. 6:35 to go. Arnold behind the arc on the left side. Get some stops, you guys. They throw it to Big Crawford. He's off balance and falls to the floor. Turnover. Travel. Coach Dip Mitras of Augusta screaming for a push. Well, that's a good call. He went up to get it. He got it. He came down off balance. Josh giving me some scores here. Our tennis team, women's tennis team, started today. They lost a tough one, 4-3. And the softball team lost the opener 11-2. And baseball should be getting underway with its second game of the season. But right about now, or somewhere in this neighborhood, they had a nice come from behind win down in Florida yesterday. All right, the Cougars down by 9. We've scored 5 in a row, 6:19 to play. Carl Ivy, left wing. Old School, head of the key. School gets it. Pass intended for Hunter Preston and a turnover. Back the other way. Reverse layup, good, and a foul. We threw it away. Down on this end. Bad pass from Old School. And they went back the other way. And reverse layup, good, and a foul. Third foul on Hunter Preston. So that's a sequence of events that you can't have when you're trailing and trying to come back here. And the free throw is good. The lead is back up to 12 with 6:05 to go. The Jaguars have answered every time the Cougars have gotten back in the game. What's going to happen the final 6 minutes? We're about to find out. JT right wing, Hunter Preston. Carl Ivy for 3. Spun out, no. Hunter Preston fighting for a rebound. Can't get it. It's knocked up top to BG. Bryant Gibbons down the lane. Dishes it off. Hunter Preston up top, Carl Ivy. Gets it to Anthony Moore. Short jumper, baseline, good. Anthony Moore having back-to-back great games. And it's 62-52 Jaguars. 5:28 to play. We need some stops now, guys. Behind the arc, Darren Lucas White. Montero up top. And we've got a foul away from the basketball on Jalen Thomas. And JT has fouled out of the game. So JT fouls out of the game. Stanley Taylor comes into the game. He has 4 fouls. Stanley started in place of the injured Zay Horton. So here's Cracknell going to the line to shoot 2 because of the double bonus, and the free throw is good. 63-52. $5:19 to play. Second one is good. So a 12-point Augusta lead again. 5:15 to go. There's enough time, but you got to go in a hurry, and you can't miss too many opportunities. BG head of the key. Hunter Preston up top on the right side. Back to BG. Puts it on the floor. Carl Ivy, a long 3. No, but a backside rebound. Anthony Moore off the glass. Good. Anthony trying to keep us in this thing. It is 64-54. Anthony with 20 points, 14 in the second half. Augusta's got a 10-point lead, 4:46 to go. Myers against Bryant Gibbons. Contact, physical, they're letting them play in there. Montero drives to the baseline, and a whistle, and ball out of bounds and belongs to CSU. By the way, they have video replay capability here at Augusta. The officials can go to the monitor if need be. Did not have to do it in the women's game, have not had to do it yet in this game. BG into the front court. BG kicks it out to Hunter Preston for three. It is no good, short, and a rebound Augusta. Hit the front of the rim. Augusta's got a 10-point lead. And they've got the clock working in their favor now with 4:08 to play. And they've got the ball. Montero, Myers. A real battle with Crawford and Preston down low. Two-pointer in the key is good by Cracknell. And it's 66-54 Jaguars. 3:50 to go. It's like pushing a big boulder up a hill. We almost get it there, but it rolls back down and flattens us again and again. Bryant Gibbons on the right side. Crawford blocked his shot out of bounds. Still belongs to the Cougars. Our final media timeout. 3:35 to play. Augusta up by 12 here in Augusta on Cougar Sports TV. We thank you for listening to CSU Cougar Basketball on Cougar Sports TV. And we thank all of our sponsors. Cougar Basketball is sponsored by Burger King, Pepsi, MediaCom, the Houston Clinic, CSU Dining Services, Kia, La Quinta Inn and Suites, Valley Hospitality, Houlihan's, the Cannon Brew Pub, the Cougar Club, the CSU Bookstore, Nuke's Eatery, Kinetic Credit Union, CSU's Girls in the Game, Waffle House, Buckhead Steak and Wine, and Coca-Cola. We thank all of our sponsors. We couldn't do any of this without our sponsors, and we appreciate them very much. And we appreciate you, our listeners and our viewers and the Cougar fans, going and visiting these sponsors and tell them you heard about them on CSU Cougar Sports. Well, Augusta, who shot 64% in the first half, through about the first 10 minutes in the second half, 3 for 12. Now they're 6 out of their last 10. Cougars with the ball, down by 12, 3:35 left. BG, they get it into him on the right wing. Down the middle of the lane, fumbled it away and out of bounds, but touched last by Augusta. There's a break. So Anthony Moore gets it in. Hunter Preston trying to beat the shot clock, forcing up a three. No. Augusta grabs the rebound. So they've got a 12-point lead, and there's 3:13 to go. We've got to get them to help us. Crawford, low block, puts it on the floor, and a 3-second violation. So the big guy has really not been much of a factor today, considering that he's 7 foot tall. 2:59 to go. We're down by 12. We've got the ball. Carl Ivey, head of the key. Got to hurry, guys. Anthony Moore, a long two up top, no. And Cracknell with a rebound, but Anthony Moore reaches in. What are they going to call? Going to call a foul on CSU. On Hunter Preston. And that's 4 on him. Double bonus, so they'll go the other way to shoot. And Cracknell will be at the line. Cougars dug themselves a 16-point hole right toward the end of the first half. We got the final 2 free throws of the half to get it to 14 at the half. Free throw is good. We got back to within 6 twice after outscoring them 10-4 to start the second half, then got back to 6 another time. Second free throw is good, but that's as close as we could get, and now it's 14 again with 2:42 to go. Bryant Gibbons, Hunter Preston, up top BG, down the left side of the lane. He's knocked to the floor. That'll send BG to the line to shoot a 1-and-1 with the clock stopped at 2:33. Lady Cougars won the opening game. Kaylor Carter, starting point guard, left with a knee injury midway through the third quarter, where we will anxiously await when she has her knee checked out to see what's going on with it. Free throw by Bryant Gibbons is good, 68-55. BG was just 2 of 6 at the line until that one. And the next one is good. 68-56. Augusta, 2.5 minutes to play. Myers into the front court. We double team him as soon as he gets there, but he dribbles through it into the paint, kicks it out on the wing to run some clock. A drive into the paint is no good, knocked away. BG gets it into the front court, 2:11 to go. Lost the handle on it, loose on the floor, and Augusta comes away with it. There's only 2 minutes to go now. Augusta with the ball and a 12-point lead. Montero kicks it out on the wing to Darren Lucas White. They're just running some clock now. Myers near the logo. Down in the corner, Montero for 3. No. Backside rebound, Augusta with 1:37 to go. And Carl Ivy reaches in and fouls him. That'll send him to the line to shoot 2 with 92 seconds left in this one. Well, the Cougars have given them a battle here today, especially playing without Zay Horton. And free throw is no good. Against a good team playing at home, you can't afford to get in a 16-point hole. Free throw good. Battled back to within 6 a couple of times in the second half, but as often happens, you just hit a wall at some point, and that wall was the 6-point deficit today. We get the ball to Anthony Moore down on the low block. He's fouled. He'll go to the line to shoot a 1-and-1. With 1:21 to go, down by 13. Anthony's free throw is good. Well, Anthony has certainly done his part today. 69-57. He's got 21 points now. 5 rebounds. Next one's good. And 69-58. We'll press in the backcourt. There's only 1:21 to go. They get it into Big Crawford. He gets it to Montero. Still in the backcourt, Myers. Gets it into the front court, Cracknell. With 1:08, Augusta with an 11-point lead in the ball. In the jump circle. And a whistle and a foul on CSU. On Stanley Taylor. And he's fouled out of the game. So the Cougars have had 2 foul out, Jalen Thomas and Stanley Taylor. And with 1 minute to go, that puts Augusta at the line. Baseball's underway down in Tampa at Steinbrenner Stadium, the spring training home of the Yankees. And Catawba leads it 1-0 in the second. Boy, I remember an exciting night in Greenwood, South Carolina, the NCAA Regionals against Catawba. Thrilling win for CSU in extra innings. 70-58. Second free throw was good. Anthony Moore back. Blocking foul and missed the shot. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. So Anthony goes to the line. He's got 22 points this afternoon, so his second straight outstanding game for the young man from Central High School in Phoenix City. And two of the officials talking something over now, and they're going to get the third one involved. And one of the officials that I know looks over at me and kind of raises his eyebrows a little bit. I don't know what that means, but now it's settled. Whatever it was, Anthony will shoot two, and the first one is no good. Anthony will go back to the line. And this one's good. 23 for Anthony Moore, 70-59. It's only 52 seconds to go, though. Augusta with the lead and the ball. And they throw it down to Crawford, but not before CSU commits a foul. Carl Ivy called for the foul, and that will send Myers to the line. And it's up and good. 71-59, Augusta. And the second one from Myers is also good. 72-59, Jaguars. Cougars with the ball. Behind the arc is School for three. Good. Timeout, Columbus State. 72-62, Augusta. So School hits his second three-pointer of the afternoon. And pulls the Cougars to within 10, but there's only 39.5 seconds remaining. Cougars have 2 timeouts left. Augusta has 3. Again, we're home on Wednesday night when Georgia College comes in. 5:30 for the women, 7:30 for the men. We want to see you out there. If you can't make it out, you can tune in right here at Cougar Sports TV and watch the broadcast. Video and audio for the home games and audio for the road games here on Cougar Sports TV. All right, Augusta gets it in. Myers in the back court, double team. Montero in the back, gets it to Myers into the front court. Gets it down, wide open, layup good. 74-62, Augusta. So the two teams will split the 2 games in the regular season, each winning at home. School drives in and misses a layup. And the ball is knocked out of bounds. Still belongs to CSU. Lady Cougars won earlier. 17.9 seconds left. The shot clock is off. And School gets it in to Anthony Moore. Bryant Gibbons drives in, puts it up short. Anthony Moore got a rebound off the glass. Good. 74-64 Augusta. 10.6 seconds. Anthony with 25 points now. Into the front court with 3 seconds, and Augusta will dribble it out, and the Jaguars have won it. Jaguars win it 74-64. They built a 16-point lead with just a few seconds left in the first half. Cougars got a couple of free throws to end the half, trailed by 14. but had a great start to the second half and got back to within 6 two different times, but couldn't close the deal and lose it 74-64. We'll talk with Coach Moore coming up in just a moment. We thank you for listening to CSU Cougar Basketball on Cougar Sports TV. And we thank all of our sponsors. Cougar Basketball is sponsored by Burger King, Pepsi, Mediacom, the Houston Clinic, CSU Dining Services, Kia, La Quinta Inn and Suites, Valley Hospitality, Hula Hands, the Cannon Brew Pub, the Cougar Club, the CSU Bookstore, Nuke's Eatery, Kinetic Credit Union, CSU's Girls in the Game, Waffle House, Buckhead Steak and Wine, and Coca-Cola. We thank all of our sponsors. We couldn't do any of this without our sponsors, and we appreciate them very much. And we appreciate you, our listeners and our viewers and our Cougar fans, going and visiting these sponsors and tell them you heard about them on CSU Cougar Sports. Scott Miller here at Augusta, inside the arena at Augusta University. The Cougars have lost 74-64. Coach Robert Moore joins us on the postgame show. Robert, we just dug ourselves too big a hole. We were 16 down as we neared the end of the first half. We got a couple of free throws to trail by 14. Then we had a great start to the second half. Right. We got back to within 6 two different times, but it so often happens that was the kind of the wall that we hit and we couldn't get over it.
Yeah, and I thought our guys came out with great intensity that second half. Really made Augusta do some adjustments. And I thought Stanley Taylor shot the ball well that second half. And like you said, it's been true with us. When we had those 17-point lead, you have enough cushion so you can win the game. And I thought Augusta did that the first half. So we really lost the game in the first half.
Well, Anthony Moore, his second straight outstanding game, 25 points and 7 rebounds for Anthony.
Oh, anytime he's aggressive, Scott, and we wanted him to be more aggressive tonight since we didn't have Zay. We wanted him to try to go for 35, but, you know, Anthony is a good basketball player that shares the basketball. But we got to just get stops at crucial times. When we cut it to 6 a couple times, we just didn't get those stops we needed.
Yeah, and we had some guys in foul trouble. We ended up having 2 guys foul out. JT fouled out, and also Tay fouled out. And so already being short, the foul trouble kind of hurt the rotation even more.
Oh, yeah, and, you know, I had got so comfortable with our rotations, winning our last 7 out of 9. And then when you get a guy like Zay out, and Zay and Brian Gibbons are 2 guys that can probably play 40 minutes. But when you don't have that guy there to get that sub and try to share it among some other guys, it just didn't work out too well for us today.
Yeah, and Augusta had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys in double figures. The big guy really wasn't a factor today at all.
At all. And, you know, the thing about them, they're so disciplined about what they're trying to do and what they're trying to get. And I think our guys got a little rush and a little antsy about everything that we were doing because we weren't making shots the first half. You got to stay the course when you play Augusta because they're going to make it a grimy game. And sometimes we don't play well when it comes to those kind of games.
Well, you got to like the effort, especially in the second half, but disappointing because I know this is one we thought we could pick off here.
Oh, yeah, and anytime you have a chance to sweep Augusta, you want to do that. So now they wanted their place, we wanted our place. We got to find another road game to win, and we can't lose at home. And we're still in the thick of this thing, but, Scott, we can't lose too many more games because it's going to go down to the last game of the season in Peach Belt.
Well, speaking of home, we'll be there Wednesday against big rival Georgia College.
Oh, Georgia College has been a big rival, even when Coach Green was the coach with Terry Sellers at Georgia College, and we've continued that rival. We want all the fans to come out. The women won today, so that'll be a good game for them against Georgia College, and we just need everybody to come out and support.
Okay, thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Coach Robert Moore, the Cougars have lost it here 74-64. And these two teams came in with identical records today, but now Augusta will get the leg up on the league, and overall they go to 13-7, 8-4 in the league. Cougars dropped to 7-5, and 12-8 overall. I want to thank Josh Fuller, our sports information director, for all his stats and notes beforehand, and all the notes and keeping me updated during the game as well. He's a busy guy back there today. With we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sports we're playing today, and so Josh trying to take it all in. He does a great job with it, and so we'll hope for better things on Wednesday night for the men. Again, the women won earlier, the men lose this one. Final score here this afternoon in Augusta. Augusta beats the Cougars 74-64. And this is Scott Miller saying so long, everyone.